السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما وفقها في الدين يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الفتن ما ظهر منها وما بطن. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We continue inshallah in our study of the Khilafah of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu, the period that extended from the 35 after Hijrah until the 40th year of Hijrah. And we know there were hard, difficult years of tribulation, years of difficulties on the Muslim Ummah, and the effects of those years continue to be hard on the Ummah until today, subhanallah. And we know that it all started with the unjust assassination and murder of Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu. And after that, Ali ibn Abi Talib was given the bay'ah, and the Medina was filled with the rebels. And after that, after Ali ibn Abi Talib tried to establish control over the Muslim Ummah and over al-Medina, there has been a major conflict among the Sahaba. And that will be one of the subjects that we will inshallah discuss today, is Zubair ibn al-Awwam and Talha ibn Ubaidillah radiyallahu anhuma jami'an. They decided that the priority that should take place right after the Khalifa is elected or appointed is to proceed with punishing the murderers, the killers of Uthman. And what they wanted is to punish everyone that has anything to do with the rebellion against Uthman ibn Affan. We see that Ali ibn Abi Talib had a different point of view. He had a priority of establishing the Khilafah, reuniting the Muslim Ummah, and then investigate and see who is more worthy, more deserving of the punishment for the murder of Uthman ibn Affan, and not to have massive killing against those who had anything to do with the rebellion and the objections against Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu. Because among those people there were some Sahaba, and there were people that had really no objective in killing Uthman. However, they disagreed with the way that Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu run the Khilafah in the last years. And among them was Sahabi Ammar ibn Yasir radiyallahu anhu. So there was a conflict between Ali ibn Abi Talib and Zubair, and Talha, they gave the pledge to Ali under the threat of the rebels to kill both of them if they have not given their pledge to Ali ibn Abi Talib. And they went to Mecca, and they gathered an army, was supported by money coming from Yemen, from Ali ibn Umayyah, also governor of Uthman ibn Affan, and they gathered almost 10,000 fighters in Mecca. And we know the story how they took Aisha radiyallahu anha, al-Mu'mineen, with them, and she went out with them with the intention of rectifying the situation and calm the issues, and then punishing the people that were involved in the murder of Uthman ibn Affan and establish justice. However, they did not went under the directions or the control of Ali ibn Abi Talib, who was the Khalifa of the time. So in a way, although their ideas of justice were supported by the Quran and supported by the Deen, however, the allegiance to the Khilafah, the allegiance to the leader, the allegiance of the Emir should take place. And the Army of Makkah decides to move to Al-Basra to base there, since Abdullah ibn Amir was one of the people that were with Zubair and Talha, and he used to be a governor of Basra. And he said, I have a lot of support, I have a lot of people that will give us logistic support, if you will, by today's term, in Al-Basra. So the Army of Makkah headed to Al-Basra, and in Al-Basra there were people that rebelled against Uthman ibn Affan, so they will also retaliate against those rebels. And Ali was on his way with a small army to Sham to subject Muawiyah to the authority of the new Khalifa, and Muawiyah did not give a pledge, bay'ah to the new Khalifa. And as he was heading north to Sham, he heard of the situation that the Army of Mecca is heading to Al-Basra, and he takes his army to a place called Viqar between Kufa and al-Basra. The army of Mecca gets close to al-Basra, and in al-Basra there was the governor that is appointed, al-Amir, that was appointed by Ali ibn Abi Talib, Uthman ibn Hunayf. Uthman ibn Hunayf refused to give support to the army of Mecca because to Uthman this army has no authority over al-Basra. The authority over al-Basra should be to the Amir, who is Ali ibn Abi Talib. And in a long story we discussed last time, it's called the events of al-Basra, which was in Rabi' al-Thani of the 36th year after Hijrah. There was fighting around the Basra. Uthman ibn Hunayf was tortured, was captured, and was sent to Ali ibn Abi Talib, was released to go to Ali ibn Abi Talib, and Talha and Zubair control al-Basra. And that's where we left the situation last time, and we know the army of Mecca now controls Basra. Ali was in need of support of Ansar. The armies of the Muslim Ummah at that time were not in Mecca, were not in Medina. They were all out there establishing the Muslim state, and most of the armies were the Thughur, and the main and new cities of Islam were Basra, Kufa, Dimashq, Hims, Palestine, and Misr, Egypt. So all of these places were filled with soldiers, and Ali wanted the support of Al-Kufa. And also in a long narration that we talked about last time, he finally gets the support of the city of Al-Kufa, and he settles in Al-Kufa, and Al-Kufa then becomes the new capital for Ali ibn Abi Talib. It becomes his headquarters, his base to lead and trying to reestablish the Ummah of Islam. And in that time there was a small story that explains the situation in the mind of Ali ibn Abi Talib and what was going on. And this story is narrated in al-Tabari. And he said, a man called Tariq bin Shihab narrates this story, and he said, we were out of the Kufa and we were making Umrah when Ali was trying to enter the Kufa. And they said he was even closer to al-Madinah before that. And Tariq said, what is going on? And they said, غلبه طلحة والزبير فخرج يعترض لهما ليردهما. He said, Talha and Zubair beat him. They were ahead of him, and he is out to bring him back to the Muslim Ummah and under the authority of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So he said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He knows that this is a musibah, and that's what a Muslim knows about musibah. And he said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We are from Allah, and we are ending back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To Allah is our return. So he said, then I went and I said, this man is saying, what do I do? Ati aliyan, do I go to Ali? فأقاتل معه هذين الرجلين, and I kill and I fight those two men. I mean, this is of the Ashra al-Mubasharin bil-Jannah. وأم المؤمنين عائشة, and in that army of Mecca there was المؤمنين عائشة. I said, what do I do? Do I go and fight against these people? Or أخالفه, or disobey my Amir, disobey Ali ibn Abi Talib? He said, إن هذا لأمر شديد. This is indeed a very difficult hardship. He said, then I went to Ali, and أقمت الصلاة بغلس. He said, we were praying Fajr and it was still dark. ولما انصرف, he said, when he finished the Salah, أتاه ابنه الحسن. Al-Hasan came to his father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. And Al-Hasan was in a state of anger, state of resentment of the situation. And this is what is described in al-Tabari. He said to his father, قَدْ أَمَرْتُكَ فَعَصَيْتَنِي. He's telling his father, I told you what to do and you didn't obey me. He was obviously angry. He said, فَتُقْتُلُوا غَدًا بِمَضْيَعَ لَا نَاصِرَ لَكَ. You will be killed tomorrow and they will have no support. Ali said to his son, he said, إِنَّكَ لَا تَزَالُ تَخِنُّ خَنِينَ الْجَارِيَةِ وَمَا الَّذِي أَمَرْتَنِي فَعَصَيْتَكَ. He said, you're crying like a little girl. What did you order me? What did you enjoin upon me? And I did not obey you. Al-Hasan radiallahu anhu said, أَمَرْتُكَ يَوْمَ أُحِيطَ بِعُثْمَانَ أَن تَخْرُجَ مِنَ الْمَدِينَةِ فَيُقْتَلْ وَلَسْتَ فِيهَا. He said, I told you when Uthman was besieged in Medina to leave Medina. So when Uthman is killed, you will not be in Medina. You will not be involved in this whole situation. ثم أمرتك يوم قتل ألا تبايع حتى يأتيك وفود أهل الأمصار والعرب وبيعة كل مصر. He said, when Uthman was killed, you didn't obey me. And when Uthman was killed, I told you not to receive the bay'ah until all the Amsar, all these states, all these territories come and give you their pledge. So you will have authority on them before you move on with the affairs of this ummah. And then he said, I enjoined upon you and amartuka حين فعل هذان الرجلان, when Talha and Zubair did what they did, أن تجلس في بيتك, sit in your house, don't do anything, don't go after them. حتى يصطلحوا, let them finish their affairs with the rebels, let them kill whatever, let them finish everything, let them do it, let them go settle with Muawiyah, let them do whatever they need to do, because they'll come to you. You are the most worthy person of this khilafah. حتى إذا كان الفساد على يدي غيرك, and if there would be corruption, somebody else would be involved in this corruption. You will be exonerated from all of these things. فعصيتني في ذلك كله. You did not obey me in all of that. Ali, so you see the patience and the forbearance of Ali, al-hilm of Ali. He's listening. Hassan had jealousy over his father. He wants his father to be protected, and he's not angry over his father. He's angry with the situation. So he said, أي بني, oh my son, let me explain to you what's going on. أما قولك لو خرجت من المدينة حين أحيط بعثمان فوالله لقد أحيط بنا كما أحيط به. He said, you say, let us leave Medina when Uthman was besieged, when we were besieged at the same time. I mean, Medina was under curfew of these rebels. He said, we had no choice to leave Medina. We were also under siege like Uthman was under siege, so that I could not obey you with. وأما قولك لا تبايع حتى تأتي بيعة الأمصار فإن الأمر أمر أهل المدينة وقد كرهنا أن يضيع هذا الأمر. He said, you said don't receive the pledge until the people of the new territories come and give the pledge. This khilafah is established in al-Medina, in the capital of the Prophet, and the shura has always been the shura of al-Medina. And I was afraid if I left it out to the people of the territories, then it will be like this, it will be a sunnah. Then the people of Medina, the Sahaba, the great Sahaba, will not have any say-so from there on in what happens in the Muslim Ummah. And then the last thing you told me, that when Talha and Zubair went out and to sit in my house until things settled themselves, he said, فَإِنَّ ذَلِكَ كَانَ وَهْنًا عَلَى أَهْلِ الْإِسْلَامِ. What happened is a weakness for Islam, that the split that happened between the great Sahaba, Talha and Zubair and Ali ibn Abi Talib. Wallahi ma ziltu maqhuran midh wallit. Wallahi I have been overcame since I received this wilayah, this khilafah. منقوصا لا أصل إلى شيء. I could not reach anything that I want to do with this khilafah. أما قولك أجلس في بيتي, how do you want me to sit in my house? فكيف لي بما لزمني. I am the Khalifa. If the Khalifa sits in the house and doesn't mind the affairs of this ummah, then who will? If the Khalifa will not rectify the wrongs of whomever does these wrongs in the Muslim ummah, then who will? He said, أي بني كف عني, leave me alone, my son. He said, this is a major problem, this is a major deal. And what happened in Al-Basra is Talha and Zubair radiallahu anhuma brought all those who had anything to do with the rebel against Uthman ibn Affan, and they asked those who are protecting them of their clans, of their tribes, of their family to surrender those people, and they were led to Talha and Zubair in chains, and they were all executed one after the other except for one, who was Hurqus bin Zuhair. And then they captured the rest of them, and they killed most of these people that had anything to do with the rebel against Uthman ibn Affan. But what happened in Al-Basra is, as they did all these punishment, is more people were angry. The families of some of these people were murdered, and then the tribe of Hurqus bin Zuhair, and he was from a major tribe, from Bani Sa'd. They were a great tribe in Arabia. They put an army of 6,000 people, want to come and retaliate against the murders of this. So this fitna is not getting any better, even when the murderers or the rebels against Uthman ibn Affan are being punished. But Talha and Zubair wrote a letter to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan in Sham, And in that, we will read some of that inshallah. They said, we went out, لِوَضْعِ الْحَرْبِ. خَرَجْنَا لِوَضْعِ الْحَرْبِ. We went out to settle the war, to settle the rebel. That they mean we went out to put this revolution down. وَإِقَامَةُ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. And we will establish the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بِإِقَامَةِ حُدُودِهِ. We will إِقَامَةِ الْحَدِّ. The had of murder, the punishment for murder is killing. And he said, that's what we are going to do against those murderers of Uthman ibn Affan. And then they said, فَخَرَجُوا إِلَى مَضَاجِعِهِمْ. He said, we gave them the warning one after the other, and then finally they went out, those rebels, and we killed all of them. فَلَمْ يَفْلِتُ مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا حُرْقُوس بن زُهَير. And there was only one man who is Hurqus ibn Zuhair that escaped. وَاللَّهُ مُقَيِّدُهُ وَقَاتِلُهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring him and he will kill him. But this is not really final justice. This is not complete justice. If they are really true about what they're doing, they cannot let one person escape because he's got a good large tribe and then kill the other if they have no protection. And then they told the people of Asham to support them and go with them in their cause. Ali ibn Abi Talib heard about all of this, and he started moving his army from Al-Kufa to Al-Basra before this unrest, before this chaos spread in the Muslim Ummah. And he moved his army closer to Al-Basra. And in that he said his famous word. He said to the people that he gathered around the Kufa and in the Qar, he said, قَدْ دَعَوْتُكُمْ لِتَشْهَدُوا مَعَنَا إِخْوَانَنَا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْبَصْرَةِ. I invite you, I called upon you to come with me to witness our brothers of Al-Basra. Now Al-Basra is against him, and he is told, these are our brothers. Don't forget that these people are our brothers in Islam. فَإِنْ يَرْجِعُوا فَذَاكَ مَا نُرِيدُ. If they come back, if they return to the right path, that's what we want. وَإِنْ يَلُجُّوا. But if they insist, became stubborn, دَاوَيْنَاهُمْ بِالرِّفْقِ. We will cure them with gentleness. He said, we are not going to kill our brothers. This is absolutely the last resort. وَبَايَنَّاهُمْ. We will discuss with them. We will, al-bayyina in Arabic is al-hujja, is the evidence. You'll bring your evidence, we will bring our evidence, and we will see who is more right on the book of Allah. حَتَّى يَبْدَأُوا بِظُلْمٍ. And we will not fight them unless they transgress or oppress against us. وَلَنْ نَدَعْ أَمْرَ صَلَاحٍ إِلَّا آثَرْنَاهُ عَلَى الْفَسَادِ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهِ. And he said, we will not let a matter of rectifying things, a matter of peace, until we will favor that over the corruption, insha'Allah. So, in that, Ali camped outside Basra, and the army of Mecca was in Basra and outside Basra facing the army of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And Ali ibn Abi Talib, since one of the great heroes and the great scholars of Islam, the man that we mentioned in one battle after the other as the absolute hero of the Muslim conquest against Persia, that is Al-Qa'qa' ibn Amr, Sahabiyan radiyallahu anhu, from the best of the Sahaba. And he comes, he said, you will be my messenger to my brothers at Zubair and Talha, and go speak to Ummuna, our mother Aisha radiyallahu anha. So Al-Qa'qa' goes to Al-Basra as a messenger of Ali ibn Abi Talib. We will see how important and pivotal role messengers play in this whole fitna. When you have a good messenger, something good comes out. When you have a bad messenger, something evil will absolutely come out. So he went to Aisha radiallahu anha, and he said, أي أمة, oh my mother. And that is a true statement, because Aisha al-Mu'mineen, all of them. أي أمة ما أشخصك وما أقدمك إلى هذه البلدة. He said, Al-Qa'qa' to Aisha, he said, what brought you to this town? She said, and listen to this, he said, أي بني إصلاح بين الناس. Oh my son, it is to rectify, to bring the peace, to bring settle the affairs of the Muslims, al-islah, among people. And she said before, and she quoted the ayah, لا خير فينا كثير من نجواهم إلا من أمر بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس. There is no good in many of the things they say except those who enjoin charity or ma'ruf, the good deeds, or islah, to bring peace to conflicting parties. He said, فَابْعَثِي إِلَى طَلْحَ وَالزُّبَيْرِ. He said, why don't you send to Talha and Zubair حتى تسمعي كلامي وكلامهما. He wants, I want to make you the judge. To Aisha, al-Mu'mineen. He said, I want you to hear my words and to hear their words. And I want you to listen to both of us. See this politeness and this honor in dealing with his mother. And then she brought Talha and Zubair, and of course Aisha is wara' hijab. Aisha is veiled and she is listening behind the curtain to them. He said, إني سألت أم المؤمنين ما أشخصها وما أقدمها فقالت إصلاح بين الناس. He told them, told Talha and Zubair, I asked al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha, what brought her to this town? And she said, al-Islah, to rectify the situation. فَمَا تَقُولَانِ أَأَنْتُمَا مُتَّبِعَانِ أَمْ مُخَالِفَانِ? Said, what do you say, both of you, Talha and Zubair? Are you following what Aisha is saying, or are you against what Aisha is saying, radiallahu anha? They say, mutabi'an. No, we are with this. We are for Islah. We are for this sulh. Said, فَأَخْبِرَانِ مَا وَجْهُ هَذَا الْإِصْلَاحِ فَوَاللَّهِ إِنْ عَرَفْنَاهُ لَنُصْلِحًا وَإِنْ أَنْكَرْنَاهُ لَا نُصْلِحًا. He said, well, tell me, how are you going to bring peace? I mean, you are here in this Basra, and you already got out of this battle of the events of al-Basra, and you want to make Islah, you want to make rectification and correct the affairs of the Muslims. He said, tell me how you want to do this. So if it was good, then we will be with you. He's speaking in the name of Ali. And if we don't think it's not good, then we will discuss it. They said, قَتَلَةُ عُثْمَانِ. The murderers of Uthman, the assassins of Uthman is what we want. فإن هذا إن ترك كان تركا للقرآن. If you leave them, let's set them free, those who killed Uthman, then this is leaving the Quran. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enjoined in the Quran to kill the murderer. وإن عمل كان إحياء للقرآن. But if you do it, this is reviving, this is applying the Quran into our lives. I mean, these two Sahaba had no ambitions of Khilafah or Imara or any of this, because it's offered to them in Medina, as we discussed. They said, we came out to live by the Quran, and this is what we want. We want the punishment of the Quran. So Qaqa said, in all the wisdom that subhanallah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in him, he said, قَدْ قَتَلْتُمَا قَتَلَةَ عُثْمَانٍ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْبَصْرَةِ. Didn't you kill the murderers of Uthman in al-Basra? وَأَنْتُمْ قَبْلَ قَتْلِهِمْ أَقْرَبُ إِلَى الْإِسْتِقَامَةِ منكم اليوم. He said, then before you killed them, you were more on the straight path than you are today. قَتَلْتُمْ 600 رَجُلٍ إِلَّا رَجُلًا. He said, you killed 600 men except for one that escaped. فَغَضِبَ لَهُمْ 6,000. Then 6,000 became angry against you. You're expanding this fitna. That's what he's telling them. وَاعْتَزَلُوكُمْ. And they left you, and they went out of Basra. وَخَرَجُوا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَظْهُرِكُمْ. They left and went outside the city. Then وَطَلَبْتُمُ الَّذِي أَفْلَتْ. Then you went out this man who escaped, Hurqus bin Zuhair. And that name will be repeated again and again, because he will play also more tragic events later on. فَمَنَعَهُ 6,000 وَهُمْ عَلَى رَجُلٍ. He said, then 6,000 more got angry to protect this man. So now you are trying to fight 12,000 people angry with you for applying this punishment. فَإِنْ تَرَكْتُمُوهُمْ. And if you left them, and they did leave them. I mean, Hurqus bin Zuhair, they did not want to expand the fighting to the people that are protecting Hurqus. He said, كُنْتُمْ تَارِكِينَ لِمَا تَقُولُونَ. Then you are leaving to what you said about the Quran. Because in the Quran doesn't say if 3 people killed, you kill 2 of them, and then if somebody is thrown, you don't kill him. If you are truly trying to apply this, then you have to apply it equally on everybody. فَإِنْ قَاتَلْتُمُوهُمْ وَالَّذِينَ اعْتَزَلُوكُمْ فَأُدِيلُ عَلَيْكُمْ فَالَّذِي حُذِّرْتُمْ وَقَرَّبْتُمْ مِنْهُ هَذَا الْأَمْرَ أَعْظَمْ مِمَّا أَرَاكُمْ تَكْرَهُونَ. This is saying that, and if you don't leave them, if you go out and trying to fight these people, then you will expand this, and it will become a greater manner, and you will hate it even more, because there will be more bloodshed, and more Muslims killing more Muslims, and then more people getting angry for the killing of these people, and you will get yourself in an endless vicious cycle. وَأَنْتُمْ أَجْمَعْتُمْ مُضَرَ وَرَبِيعَ مَجْتَمَعُوا عَلَى حَرْبِكُمْ. He said that the 2 tribes of Mudar and Rabi'a now are against you. These are major 2 tribes that had played a major role in the wars against Persia. So Aisha and them, they said, listen, all he's saying is true. I mean, they cannot refute or dispute these facts. This is what's going on. They said, فَمَا دَوَاءُ لِهَذَا الْأَمْرِ. Then what do you think, how should we treat this? How should we deal with this? He said, لا أرى دواء لهذا الأمر إلا التسكين. I don't see a remedy for this situation except tranquilizers. Calm things down. Let things calm down. وإذا سكن اختلجوا فإن أنتم بايعتمونا. He said, if this calm down, then those killers of Uthman will be scared. They will know, and we will see that. And if you pledge to Ali, فعلامة خير, then will be good. وتباشير رحمة ودركم بثأر هذا الرجل. Then that is the best chance to retaliate against the killers of Uthman. If you come under one banner, if you are united, then it is easier to apply justice. وعافية وسلامة لهذه الأمة. Then this ummah will be in good shape and in salama, in peace. وإن أبيتم إلا مكابرة هذا الأمر واعتسافه كانت علامة شر وذهاب هذا الثأر. Then if you are stubborn on your position, then this revenge, this retaliation against Ali, against Uthman will be gone. You cannot retaliate. If we are divided, we are fighting each other and killing each other, it's all for the benefit of those who rebelled against Uthman ibn Affan. وبعثة الله في هذه الأمة هزاهز فآثر العافية ترزقوها وكونوا مفاتيح الخير كما كنتم تكونون. He said, then come to this afiyah, to this health of this ummah, to the good situation of this ummah, and continue be the keys of khair, the justice and good things of this ummah, like you were before. He said, you are good people. I mean, we know the station of these two Sahaba. وَلَا تُعَرُّضُونَ لِلْبَلَاءِ. Don't expose us to this fitna, to this trial. وَلَا تُعَرِّضُ لَهُ فَيَصْرَعُنَا وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَأَيْمُ اللَّهِ إِنِّي لَأَقُولُ هَذَا وَأَدْعُوكُمْ إِلَيْهِ وَإِنِّي خَائِفٌ أَلَّا يَتُمَّ حَتَّى يَأْخُذَ اللَّهُ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ التي قل متاعها ونزل بها ما نزل. He said, Wallahi, I'm calling upon you and I'm frightened. My heart is trembling with fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting these trials and tribulation upon this ummah, and this will not go through. This what I'm telling you about. He's telling them that he's really sincere, and he is frightened from what can result from this conflict. And he said, إِنَّ هَذَا أَمْرٌ لَيْسَ يُقَدَّرُ. This is a very big deal. This is a humongous situation. وليست كقتل الرجل الرجل ولا النفر النفر ولا القبيلة للرجل. This is not like simple murder, killing one person against other. He's telling him this is a great tribulation. This is a matter of for the lack of better term, this is a matter of national security for the Muslim ummah. This is not a matter of retaliating against a murder. This ummah is splitting apart. And then they said, أحسنت وأصبت. I mean, see, when the message comes from a good heart to a good heart, it falls immediately in the right place. They said, أحسنت, you did good. وأصبت, and your opinion is right. And if Ali is on this opinion, like yours, فإذا جاء علي بمثل ما قلت صلح الأمر. Then we will make peace with Ali, if he is on this opinion. So Al-Qaqa went to Ali and he told them what is going on, and they agreed to as-salih. They agreed that there will be no war and there will be no situation, and Talha and Zubair will be with Ali against the murderers of Uthman, and they will support Ali to establish the Khilafah. And the Muslims slept in the best night ever since the murder of Uthman ibn Affan. This is how the historians describe. They said, نَامَ الْمُسْلِمُونَ فِي خَيْرِ لَيْلَةٍ. It was the happiest night that they went to sleep in since the murder of Uthman ibn Affan. And Ali ordered people to gather, ordered his army to pack and wrap his weapons, and he said a major word. He said, أَلَا وَإِنِّي رَاحِلٌ غَدًا. Tomorrow morning I'm leaving. I'm leaving this. There's no khalas. There's no fighting. It's over. ألا ولا يرحلن غدا أحد أعان على عثمان رضي الله عليه بشيء. He said, no one that helped against Uthman ibn Affan can leave with me. Why is that? He knows that the rebels are all infiltrated in his army. This is what happened. This is the major problem that Ali had. And he said, now tomorrow those who are rebels against Uthman, they are not to leave with me. And he said, وَلْيُغْنِ السُّفَهَاءُ عَنِّي أَنفُسَهُمْ. Those ignorant, let them protect themselves from me. Leave my camp. So those rebels, that was the best night for the Muslims and the worst night for the rebels against Uthman ibn Affan. Now these great Sahaba have made peace with each other, and now they are one hand under one banner against them. So that comes the night of the conspiracy, the night of the plotting against this ummah. And al-Tabari, اجتمع رهط منهم. A group of those rebels gathered together. And namely, they were Alba ibn al-Haytham, Adi ibn Hatim, Surayh ibn Awfa, Al-Ashtar al-Nukh'i, Abdullah ibn Saba, wa Khalid ibn Muljam. These people, they are the conspirators against Uthman, and they felt like this is their final last night in peace, because now both parties are after them. Now Ali is still kicking them out, and they have nowhere to go. And they said, إِذَا اجْتَمَعَ النَّاسُ غَدًا وَاصْطَلَحُوا فَلَيْسَ الصُّلْحُ إِلَّا عَلَيْنَا. This peace is not but against us. This peace is against our well-being. We will be killed. Al-Ashtar al-Nukh'i said, kill Ali. Why don't you kill Ali? Because Ali now is making this peace, and we can tell the people that no, we have to rectify the situation against Ali like we did against Uthman. And then he said, let's kill also Talha. So we will be killing one of each camp. فَتَكُونُ هَذِهِ بِتِلْكَ فَيَغْفِرُ النَّاسُ لَهُمْ مَا أَحْدَثُوا بِعُثْمَانَ. Then they will be one against one, and people will forgive what happened against Uthman ibn Affan, so we will be saved. So everybody said this is a very stupid opinion, because now everybody wants to kill us because we rebelled against Uthman. Now you want us to make our crime against Uthman, Ali and Talha. This is wallahi not a very good opinion. And then Ibn Sawda, Abdullah ibn Saba said, no, this is not what we should do. He said, إِنَّ عِزَّكُمْ فِي خِلْطَةِ النَّاسِ. That your protection is when you mingle among people. Because there are not that many of them. There's about 2,000 of them, 2,500, according to most scholars. فَصَانِعُوهُمْ. Trick them. Show them that you are with the plan, that you are agreeing with everything that is happening. وَإِذَا الْتَقَى النَّاسُ غَدًا فَأَنْشِبُوا الْقِتَالَ وَلَا تُفْرِغُوهُمْ لِلنَّظَرِ. He said, now, early in the morning and tomorrow, then start the fighting. And don't let people find out what's going on. فَإِذَا أَنْتُمْ مَنْ أَنْتُمْ مَعَهُ لَا يَجِدْ بُدًّا مِنْ أَنْ يَمْتَنِعْ وَيَشْغُلُ اللَّهُ عَلِيًّا وَطَلْحَ وَالزُّبَيْرَ عَمَّا تَكْرَهُونَ. He said, people will just get busy with protecting themselves, and they will get busy of you. They will not fight against you. So, after that, Ali ibn Abi Talib camped, and Zubair wa Talha camped all outside Basra, and the two camps are in peace and mingling with each other, and they're so close. I mean, the state of war is gone, is done. And the two camps are so close, and the Sahaba starting mingling with each other, visiting each other. They haven't seen each other for months, and it's all been charged with all this enmity. So now peace is going on. And then before dawn, في الغلس قام السبائية, the followers of Abdullah ibn Saba, and they split themselves into two groups. And what they did is they started killing in their own camps. I mean, people are sleeping, and these people with the swords, they're screaming and Allahu Akbar and killing. And when somebody wakes up, what is going on? Zubair is attacking. Talha is attacking. The army of Makkah is attacking. And the people stood up. Ghadr. This is betrayal. And the other group sneaked to the camp of Talha and Zubair and started killing. And people wake up. He said, we are the army of Ali. We are from the camp of Ali. And the people started screaming, Ghadara Ali. Ali is betrayed. And the people in the camp of Ali are saying, Zubair betrayed. And the fighting started. And the fighting started before dawn, before Salat al-Fajr. And people are starting fighting each other and killing each other. And each camp is thinking that the other camp has betrayed and went against this treaty. And the fighting started in Al-Basra, started in this great battle of Al-Camel. Aisha radiallahu anha was in Al-Basra, in a small house. And this great judge of Al-Basra, Sur bin Ka'b, that we studied how he was trying to rectify the situation last session, gets up and it's a major chaos. These people are killing each other, and there was peace only only yesterday. And he's trying to have something done to calm things down, to bring this chaos to rest. So he goes to Aisha radiallahu anha. He said, Ya Ummah adrikina. Oh mother, help us, save us. What's going on? He said, these armies are against each other and you witnessed the peace. Now we know the peace was witnessed by Aisha. So why don't you come to the battlefield and tell people what's going on so they calm down. So what they did, the people of Al-Basra, they brought a hawdaj. Hawdaj is what is put above the camel. And they fortified it. They put the iron shields all over that to protect Aisha and that chaos, radiallahu anha. And they brought this camel and they made it like a modern day tank. It was all covered with the chains and al-durur and al-hadid and the iron and all of that. So it became a fortified camel. And they brought this camel is something that Arabs never seen before. And this is why this battle called Ma'rakat al-Jaml, the battle of the camel. And Aisha radiallahu anha was in this camel, and he brought her, Ka'b bin Sur, he brought her to the battlefield to try to, when people will see Aisha, will see their mother, they will calm down. And that's what he thought, radiallahu anhu. And instead of that, as-Sabaiyun, when the people of Saba saw the camel and they know Aisha, they said, Aisha, fight her, attack her. She is the reason for this problem. She is the cause of this problem. And they started attacking the camel. Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu was not fighting. He was behind the army. And his army started retreating. Now in this army of Ali, there are only two major fighters. The battle in those times stands with the main fighting people. And they were Al-Qaqa and Ali. These are the two main fighters in the army of Ali. And Ali is refusing to fight in his tent. And Al-Hasan is fighting, and all the Sahaba are fighting, and people of Kufa are fighting, and they started retreating. And here comes the camel, and the attack starts on the camel. And the camel started taking the hits of the arrows until the historians said it looks like al-qunfudh, which is an animal. Somebody can help me. Porcupine. Yes, jazakallah khair. And it's all these arrows are sticking in those shields and the iron. And you can't even see the camel anymore. And the Sahaba around the camel are fighting Abdullah ibn Zubair and trying. Now the battle became all about the camel. Those people are trying to attack the camel, and the other group is defending the camel. And it was a very major deal, because both armies were trying. People from Ali's camp were trying to protect Aisha, and people from Zubair camp were trying to protect Aisha. Because who's in the army of Ali? Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, her brother. It's trying to protect al-Mu'mineen. Ammar ibn Yasir. They're all fighting around the camel. And they went to Ali and they said, Ali, come. You have to do something. Here's the situation. Aisha is about to be killed on the battlefield. And we are being defeated. And then at that particular moment, Ali ibn Abi Talib goes on and starts fighting, trying to protect. And then they said, protect the camel. Protect al-Jaml. And the Sahaba started coming around the Jaml, around the camel, to protect it. Protect Aisha radiallahu anha. But the fighting is so fierce still between the two. It's a major chaos that is happening in that battlefield. And then after protecting the camel, he started looking for al-Zubair ibn al-Awwam. Wants to talk to al-Zubair. I mean, if there is a conspiracy, if there is betrayal, he wants to know why they betrayed him. Why Talha and Zubair? That's the story that they started attacking. So they come to al-Zubair until ta'anaqat khuyulahuma. The two horses became neck to neck. And he said, Ya Zubair, ma alladhi hadath? What is going on, Ya Zubair? And al-Zubair said, Ghadartum, you betrayed us. We had a deal. and then protected the killers of Uthman. And Ali didn't want to argue, and he said, "Ya Zubair, do you remember a day, do you remember an event? 30 years ago that event happened." He said, "We were with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and as Zubair was walking with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam near the Mount of Uhud. And he looked at Ali, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Ali smiled back to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then as Zubair got a little jealous, and he said, "La yada'u ibn Abi Talib zahwa." Abu Talib doesn't leave an opportunity to be proud of his closeness to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He loves being his cousin and his son-in-law. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Wallahi ma bihi zahwa." No, wallahi, he's not like that. He's not arrogant. He's not proud. And then he looked at Zubair, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is a hadith. He said, "Aduhibbu aliyan ya Zubair?" Do you love Ali, ya Zubair? And Zubair said, "Wallahi uhibbu aliyan." Wallah, I love Ali. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "La tuqatilanna aliyan wa anta lahu zalim." You will fight against Ali, and you will be the oppressor. And Ali said to Zubair, "Do you remember that day?" And Zubair is completely stunned. He said, "Wallahi naseet." Wallahi, I completely forgot. Like he is hearing this for the first time. And he just doesn't answer back. And he takes his horse and he leaves the battlefield. Talha is paralyzed. Talha doesn't fight. Talha, his right hand, he's the other pivotal person in this fighting, his hand is paralyzed because of what? Uhud. And the day of Uhud, he was the one protecting Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, hadith sahih said, "Al-yawma yawmu Talha." Today, day of Uhud is the day of Talha. So Talha is behind the army, he can't fight. But he is leading the battle. And Ali radiallahu anhu, he also comes to him and he talks to him. And Talha also is stunned and he is stopped the fighting and he went behind the army. As Zubair is leaving the battlefield, his son is following him. "Ya abati, what's going on, my father?" His son is the Sahabi Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu anhu, truest person, scholar of Islam, one of the Abadila, one of the Abdullah. Now the Abadila are the scholars of Islam, are Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, and Abdullah ibn Zubair. He is one of the major people. He said, "Where are you going, father?" He said, "Da'aka anni, leave me alone." Zubair is so completely stunned with this. How did he get to this point? He's fighting Ali. And this is the prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, "Ya abati akhafatka suyufu bani Abdul Muttalib?" Are you afraid from the swords of Bani Abdul Muttalib? I mean, you're a good fighter, but what's going on? Are you scared? I mean, how can he be scared? He is as Zubair, the son of Safiya, daughter of Abdul Muttalib. He is one of the people of Abdul Muttalib. He is not scared of the clan of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's one of them. He's the cousin of Rasulullah. He's the cousin of Ali. Now, I mean, you have to understand, they're first cousins and against each other. And he is leaving. And as Zubair leaves him to go alone. And he is taken with him his servant. A man sees as Zubair leaving the battlefield. And his name is Amr ibn Jurmuz. And he finds that he was from the rebels against Uthman. And he follows as Zubair. Zubair looks around and he sees him. He said, "What do you want?" ماذا تريد? He said, "As-suhbah. I want your company." He said, "Faydan na, come with me." Then the man said, "As-salah, it's time for as-salah." Amr ibn Jurmuz. So as Zubair comes to lead the salah, he is the great Sahaba, one of the great Sahaba, and as he soon as said, "Allahu Akbar," this man comes with his sword and he kills Az-Zubair. Right there. And leaves him, and he takes his sword, that sword of Az-Zubair ibn al-Awwam, and he goes on to Ali. And Ali was in his tent at that time, resting. And he comes in and he said, "Tell Ali I have a good news for him. I have good news for Ali." And Ali said, "What is it?" He said, "Just give him this sword." So he doesn't want to see anybody. Ali is so stressed and depressed by this whole situation. So he said, "Take the sword to him and he will know." So he gives him the sword of Az-Zubair. And they bring the sword to Ali and they said, "This man came and he said he killed Az-Zubair and here is his sword." So Ali holds the sword and he said, "طالما دافع هذا السيف عن وجه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is the face that defended the face of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. And he started crying. Amr bin Jarmuz, instead of finding the nanir coming out, the money coming out, and of the glad tidings, he hears weeping from inside the tent of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And then he said to the people around him, he said, Wallahi, Ali ibn Abi Talib said, I heard the Prophet ﷺ said, Bashiru qatil ibn Safiyyah bin nar. He said, tell the one that will kill the son of Safiyyah, Zubair ibn al-Awwam, that is with hellfire. That man is damned to hellfire. And he gets scared. He knows that now he's not going to get any reward from Ali. And he leaves. And Ali sends people after him to capture this murderer, this al-Ghadir that kills with betrayal. And once he is they got close to him, he kills himself. Amr bin Jarmuz commits suicide. So the prophecy of Rasulullah ﷺ becomes true from both ways. He killed Zubair and then he killed himself. And he is damned to hellfire, like Rasulullah ﷺ said. Talha is standing behind the army and he is watching what's going on. He's also stunned. What is going on? This is a tragic battle that the Muslim got into. Fitna. And an arrow comes and hits Talha. So Talha was hit with an arrow. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who shot that arrow against Talha. And Talha falls. And he's bleeding and he knows he's about to die. And he sees a man walking. And he said, where are you? What team are you on? What group are you with? He said, Ana min Jaysh Ali. I'm from Ali. I'm from the people of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, come to me. And he said, I want to give you the pledge. I want to give you the bay'ah. So you give to Ali. He doesn't want to die without repentance. He knows that what he did was an oppression. It's a baghi. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. And the ulama said about this battle, that we wouldn't know the ruling of al-baghi, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَقَاتِلُوا الَّتِي تَبْغِي حَتَّى تَفِيءَ إِلَى أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. This is the fighting among Muslims. There are ruling in fiqh. Is that, and they said it's the battle of al-Jaml, that all these ruling were derived from. Otherwise we wouldn't know what to do when Muslims fight each other. And he said, come and I'll give you my pledge to Ali, bay'ah to Ali ibn Abi Talib. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told Talha, لا تموت إلا مبايعا. You will not die unless you are given a pledge. And he dies. And the battle continues. And the Sahaba are around the Jamel, and Ali goes to them and he said, اعقروا الجمل. Put the camel down, because the camel is up there and it's just a target. And these people are shooting their arrows to al-Jamel, and it's on an elevation. So he said, اعقروا الجمل. Put the camel down. So Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr and Ammar ibn Yasir came to around the camel, and they cut the legs of the camel, they put the camel down. And they took the hawdaj, they took that box above the camel, and they ran away with it from the battlefield, protecting Aisha radiallahu anha, and they go to Al-Basra. And once the camel is out, they become no target for the army of Talha and Zubair, and becomes easier for Ali radiallahu anhu to control the battlefield. And he controls the battlefield and he ends that battle. And the battle of al-Jaml ends to the advantage of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. And it was one of the fiercest, most fierce fighting that Muslims saw in their history. Both of them are fighting believing they're on the true way, on the true path for Aqidah. They are fighting for what they believe. 10,000 of them lay on the battlefield. 5,000 from each camp. Most of them are from Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Ali ibn Abi Talib walked around. And he sees the body of Talha ibn Ubaidillah. And he comes and he hugs the body of Talha. And he wipes the blood from his face and he said, يعز علي أن أراك هكذا يا أبا محمد. He said, it is very dear for me to see you like this, Abu Muhammad. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعلني أنا وأخي هذا أن نكون ممن قلت فيهم وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ إِخْوَانًا عَلَى سُرُرٍ مُتَقَابِلِينَ. He said, Allah, I ask you to make me and my brother of those who you said in them, we cleansed what's in their heart of hatred, brothers on the beds of paradise in front of each other. اللهم إني أشكو إليك فجيعتي في موت طلحة والله لقد وددت أن كنت مت قبل هذا ب20 عاما. He said, Wallahi, I wish I was dead before this position 20 years ago. And he was weeping and he couldn't stand, and Al-Hasan comes and picks his father up, and they were both crying for Talha. And then he started walking around and he started ordering his army of cleaning those people and taking them and burying them. And then he said he saw the body of Ka'b bin Sur. Ka'b bin Sur is the one, the judge of Al-Basra, and he was killed in that battle. And he said, زَعَمُوا أَنَّمَا خَرَجَ مَعَهُمُ السُّفَهَاء. He said they claim that only the ignorant came with Talha and Zubair. And look at this man. He is one of the scholars of Islam. And then gathered all the killed, and he made the salah alayhim. He made the salah on the mayyit, on those people who are killed in al-Camel, and he buried all of them according to the Sharia. And he made an order that is weird, that is the first time in the history of battlefield for the Muslims. He said, لا سلب ولا غنم اليوم. Today there is no ghanima, there are no spoils of war. You don't take anything. Anything that you took out of Basra, you put back to Basra. Now this is the army of Kufa that was victorious. So people usually take the spoils, take the weapons, take the shields, take the money, whatever they can find. He said no. Everything you put it back. And then he called upon the people of Basra. He said, مَنْ عَرَفَ لَهُ شَيْئًا فَلْيَأْخُذَهُ. Anybody that knows that one of these things belong to him or his family, then let them take it. And then he went to Al-Basra, and Aisha radiallahu anha was in a house in Al-Basra, protected. And in the same house, this is the house of Abu Huzaifa, they brought the wounded to that house, and they were hiding the wounded because those people may be punished by the army of Ali, and they were hiding them behind doors. So Ali comes to that house and knocks on the door, and he asked permission to come to visit Aisha radiallahu anha. And he was given permission by Aisha radiallahu anha to come. And he said, كيف أنت يا أم المؤمنين? How are you, mother? And she said, بخير. We are good. يغفر الله لكم. May Allah forgive you. And then he said, يغفر الله لنا ولكم. May Allah forgive both of us. May Allah forgive us and you. This is the situation. This is the dealing between Ali radiallahu anhu and Aisha. And then people started cursing Ali from that house because they think he is the reason for all of that. And then he patiently goes out. And they keep cursing him and saying bad words about him. He's listening. He's Amir al-Mu'mineen and victorious. And then he said, Wallahi, be patient with me. I know what is behind these closed doors. I know my enemies are behind these closed doors. And I will give you peace and safety. And then he hears from behind the walls 2 men calling upon Aisha. He said, Ya ummana tubi. Oh my mother, repent. He said, who is saying that? Man yaqulu hadha. They said, 2 men of your army. 2 people of your army are calling upon Aisha to repent. Aisha, repent? Aisha radiallahu anha. And he said, bring him to me. So they brought him. And he said, call al-Qa'qa'. And they bring al-Qa'qa'. And he said, أَضْرُبُ عُنُقُهُمَا يَا أَمِيرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. You want me to kill them? Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen? He said, أَوْسِعُهُمَا عُقُوبَةً. Just punish them. And they will be whipped for what they said. All they said is, repent, Aisha. And radiallahu anha. And they were whipped in front of entire army of Ali. So they know not to transgress against their mother Aisha radiallahu anha. And then, أَمَرَ أَن تُجَهَّزْ إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ. He ordered that they point a caravan to Al-Madinah. And he sent with her 40 women of his household. فَجُحِّزَتْ خَيْرَ جِهَازٍ. And then with her, he walks by himself. He leads her camel, her caravan. And according to the scholars, أَمْيَالًا, he walks miles upon miles. And he sends Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein with her for an entire day to make sure that she is safe. And then she said, Aisha, before Ali leaves her caravan and goes back to Al-Basra, she said, إِنَّهُ وَاللَّهِ مَا كَانَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ عَلِيٍّ فِي الْقَدِيمِ إِلَّا مَا يَكُونُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْأَةِ وَأَحْمَائِهَا وَإِنَّهُ عِنْدِي عَلَى مَعْتِبَتِي لَمِنَ الْأَخْيَارِ. And she said, Ummuna Aisha radiallahu anha, Wallahi, between me and Ali, there was nothing but what happens between families. And he, with my blame to him about the killers of Uthman, he is min al-akhyar, he is from the chosen one, he is from the best of this ummah. And then Ali said, Ya ayyuhan nas, sadaqat wallahi wa barrat. Wallahi, she is truthful and she is barra. إنه ما كان بيني وبينها إلا ذلك وإنها لزوجة نبيكم صلى الله عليه وسلم في الدنيا والآخرة. And she is the wife of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم in الدنيا and in الآخرة. And with that, on Saturday, in Rajab of the 36th year of Hijrah, radiallahu anha, Aisha leaves Basra and she goes back to Al-Medina. And now Ali has the bay'ah from the people of Basra and has the bay'ah of people of Al-Kufa, and he makes Abdullah ibn Abbas a governor over Al-Basra. And interestingly, he makes the treasurer over Al-Basra Ziyad ibn Abi Sufyan. Ziyad is the brother of Muawiyah, but he's with the army of Ali. I mean, this how deep this fitna was in the Muslim. The two brothers in the same household. One of them was Ali, and the other one is against Ali radiallahu anhu. And Ziyad ibn Abi Sufyan becomes the treasurer of Al-Basra, and for Ali becomes only one clear objective after Mawqi'at al-Jaml, is to bring Sham back to the Muslim Ummah and to take the pledge of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. And that's inshallah what will lead us in the next session into the events that preceded and happened during the Battle of Siffin. Allahumma إنا نسألك أن تنجنا من الفتن جميعها ما ظهر منها وما بطن ونسألك أن تحينا على الإيمان وتتوفنا على الإيمان غير مفتونين ولا ضالين يا رب العالمين وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. That in some narration that Ali ibn Abi Talib asked for the howdaj to be brought down, not for the camel to be to cut the legs. And yes, that is true. There was another narration that he ordered the ropes around the camel to be cut, so the box will come down, and he sent her brother Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr and Ammar ibn Yasir to hold the box. But in all narration, that's basically what happened, is they got the box down and they got her safely out of the battlefield. And this is, just remember, this is the opposition that is doing that. This is the army that they're fighting is trying to protect Aisha radiallahu anha. I mean, there's no really, yeah. Yeah. This was not, I mean, these two armies had reached an agreement. And it's clear in the books of history, and one of the clearest references is al-Tabari, is how this happened. It happened because of that conspiracy, of that plot that got these two armies into the battlefield. No, the conspirators, I mean, this conspiracy was not revealed to Ali ibn Abi Talib. They were still very chaotic, and these people stayed in the army of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Abdullah ibn Zubair, it's noteworthy that Abdullah ibn Zubair was wounded gravely after this battle, and he was brought to the camp of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he was given the cure and the help, and he was sent then later on to Mecca, and he stayed in Mecca. And another person that was killed in this battle was Muhammad ibn Abi Talha, Muhammad ibn Talha ibn Ubaidillah. He was also killed in this battle. So in this battle, many of the great Sahaba, Zubair ibn al-Awwam, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, and Muhammad ibn Talha, were all killed in this major battle.
So it seems that happened.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. We agreed not to really I mean, there are obviously some mistakes that happen, and it is a series of mistakes, and we're not here to point out who was wrong and who was right. It's obvious, but the situation with the rebels in the army of Ali, number one, he did not name names, who should leave and who shouldn't leave. He said, whoever knows that he has a hand in the plot against Uthman, let them leave. They're not of me. So there were no list of people that these are the murderers, or these are the conspirators, or these are the plotters. Had they known who they are, name by name, then they would have punished them long time ago. Then the support of Al-Kufa wasn't very steady, and we will see that later on. So really the core army around Ali ibn Abi Talib was mostly led by these people. And Al-Ashtar al-Nukh'i was one of the main people around Ali, and he was the leader of the combatant army. And he was Ali's right hand on the battlefield. And he is one of the rebels against Uthman ibn Affan. So trying to divide the army and the battle is not completely out yet. It would have been a very also grave mistake, a very strategic mistake to do that before they reach Al-Basra. He doesn't know that there'll be a peace treaty in Al-Basra. So trying to get the rebels in Al-Kufa before the fitna is down is not possible for Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu.
So this gives us a lesson that
The historians brought this list of who conspired, and Allah knows best. Allah knows what is right and what is wrong. But this is just a narration in these books, in al-Tabari and others.
And very difficult to discover these rebels.
Yeah, they were embedded and mingled.
It's happening now.
I mean, that's what Abdullah ibn Abi Saba said. He said, "Inna uzzakum fi khiltatin nas." That your protection is mingling among people. Don't isolate yourself. They're not like we are the group of the rebels. I mean, they would not do that. They all mingled all over this army, but in the conspiracy they would gather each other and they will conspire in the darkness. And that's how they did this fitna.
and also there was a very serious failure in communication.
Well, the communication wasn't really as good as it is today. I mean, he cannot call Talha and Zubair and get them on, say, let's talk about this. They can't. They have to do it, obviously, according to those days. They were different. These things were different. Absolutely not. جزاكم الله خير. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي لكم. سبحانك رب العزة سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.